Yo, what's going on guys? Jared here. Today we need to talk about Tempai. Obviously, Tempai took the biggest loss on the recent Forbidden Unlimited list with the loss of Chundras and the loss of Sangun Kaiman. This is huge losses for this deck, but I do not actually think this deck is dead. Do I think it's much less respectable? Yes. You do not have to worry about getting OTK'd every single turn. The deck folds a lot of the time to Ash Blossom on Sangun Kaiman. It is definitely a struggle. But do I think the deck could still absolutely steal some wins? Definitely. So I want to go over a deck list that I made. This is a very streamlined deck list. This is very simple, and I'm going to explain why I kept it that way. There's other lists that you can do that I also want to explain a little bit, but I kept mine very simple, very basic. I don't think it needs to do all this extravagant stuff. It's just Tempai. It doesn't need all these fancy things. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. Okay guys, so here is my Tempai list. I'm going to go over the list and then I'm going to talk about it just a little bit. So I have 2 copies of Genroku, 1 Chundra, 1 Fadra, 3 Pydra, 2 Doradora, 1 Sengun Kaiman, 1 Sangun Summoning, 1 Terraforming, 1 Prosperity, 3 copies of Small World, 3 copies of Ultimate Slayer, 3 Ash, 3 Mourner, 3 Imperm, 2 Ogre, 2 Veiler, 2 Nib, and then the 6 Small Charmies. And then in the extra deck, I have 1 copy of the Transcendent Dragon, 2 copies of Biden Dragon, 1 Trident Dragon, 1 Black Rose Dragon, 1 Meteor Burst, 1 Samurai Destroyer, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 of the Striker Dragon, 2 Seals, 1 Aggregator, 1 Garura, 1 copy of the Tri Brigade, and 1 copy of Elder Entity Incest. I actually have a side list for this because I was playing it unrated for a little bit. So I have 2 copies of Lightning Storm, 1 Duster, the 3 Bestials, 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier, 3 copies of Lancia, and 3 copies of Joel and Lockbird. So the main thing that I want to talk about for this is, again, I kept this very simple. I've really just replaced the consistency cards that we lost in the form of Sangun Kaiman and Chundra for Small Worlds. And I know Small World is definitely a step down, but that's what happens when you get hit on a ban list. Now, I don't think the answer to Tempai is putting in things like, I'll say, Kashtira. Kashtira cards are good, and they are very good at standalone cards, but they don't necessarily bait anything. And the line that you go into with the Kashtira cards is Fenrir for Rise Heart, normal summon Rise Heart, then you go in the Draco Sack, 2 tokens, Cherubini, dump a Tempai, go in the Princess, bring back the Tempai, and then you try to combo from there. That line plays to every single hand trap in the game, except Bestials. That's the only one that doesn't play into. But Bestials are bad against Tempai anyway. So every hand trap beats that line. I am not playing that. There is no way I'm playing that. Tempai already has a slew of normal summons in a hard drawn Genroku, Fadra, Pydras, Doradoras. You don't need more normal summons. You need ways to get to either your Chundra or to get to searching your Genroku. And for my opinion, the best way to do it is just play Small World with a abysmal amount of hand traps and good Small World lines to get to it. And these hand traps allow that to happen. Between Ash, Mourner, Charmies, Perulia, Nib, Ogre, and Veiler, you are able to bounce around to just enough to be able to get to the Tempais that you want to see, mainly Chundra, because, again, this is the one that you want to be adding, or Genroku, most of the time. So you have a level 3 bridge and a level 4 bridge, and Small World pretty much with any of these cards gets to either one of these. Some of them are a little bit different. I do not think that Perulia can get straight into, into Genroku, but it can get into Chundra specifically. It's been a while since I did the lines for this, but yeah, Small World bridges, plenty. Another inclusion that I added in here is Ultimate Slayer. As we saw in the YCS where the ban list was announced, Tempai got 2nd place, and the main deck was playing Ultimate Slayer. With how popular the Raziel strategy is and is going to continue to be, I do not see a reason why you would not just play 3 copies of Ultimate Slayer moving forward. This card deals with both the Detonator and it deals with the field spell in one card. That is huge. There's no restriction on this card. You can even activate more than one a turn if you want to. It is arguable to play more copies of Exceeds in your extra deck just to have it just in case. It could come up. I'm only playing 1 right now, but you could absolutely make room if you want to. This card also deals with some of the Link monsters with Malice if they leave them on the field. There's just some things that it deals with. That's all. This card is live a good amount of the time. Even when you use it, you're able to get a draw off of the Link and Fusion. For other decks that are not Raziel and Raziel, you're dealing with the board with it. So I think it is definitely worth it when you're always blinding second. Second of all, you are playing so many hand traps. You're playing 21 hand traps in this deck. These cards slaughter so many decks because they just have to go into either an awkward position or a bad position to be able to continue playing. Raziel a lot of the time will just end on Detonator, and if you just have an Ultimate Slayer, you are just cooking them. Or if you just draw Imperm, you are just cooking them. Now, this goes back into a different type of deck that you could also make for this. And I'm going to go to the side deck talking about the Bestials. Bystials are very, very strong right now. I cannot underestimate how good Bystials are right now. That's because with the popularity of Fiendsmith, specifically Fiendsmith Ryzeal, but Fiendsmith in general being played so much, Bystials is huge right now. Also, Druisworm specifically, dealing with Detonator is so strong. This card clears Detonator like it's nothing. It's so easy. Everyone's putting Detonator in attack mode also, so you could just slam the Druisworm in and kill the Detonator. And then if you have Sangan Kaiman, you are able to just pop the Detonator. So even if you go like normal summon Pydra in main phase with the Druisworm, get Sangan Kaiman, summon the Druisworm, slam it in, clear the Detonator, and then Sangan Kaiman, you have enough for OTK from that point forward, which is very, very strong. So overall, there is like another build. I believe Squiddy's made a video where he was talking about playing Bystials with Lubellions and Regain and stuff. That looked like it worked out pretty well for him. I think he got really high rated DB with it, which is awesome. So overall, I don't think Tempai is dead by any means, because this is a deck where if you don't respect it and you don't know how it operates or you're not ready for it, it can just walk all over you. But the good thing is, where we are in the format currently, a lot of people are playing Dimensional Barrier, which is very strong against this deck. So that's another reason why I'm playing so many hand traps in this deck, because not only because I like obviously board breakers are really strong, but because you need to be able to stall for multiple turns. Where if you get deep, like there was times on DB where I'm getting like I go second, I hand trap them, they stop, they debarrier me, then I just straight up pass to them, I charm me, or hand trap them again, stop them again, and they don't kill me, but they might make a little bit of a board, but it's nothing that the Tempai cards can't handle as normal, especially the Lacrima with the trapping graveyard. This deck chews through that. Being able to just go normal Pydra, get Sangan Kaiman, go battle phase, they can have a Lacrima in the trapping graveyard, you don't care. You are killing through that like it is nothing. It's so easy. So again, it is just a deck that is definitely, I don't think it's dead. I don't think it's gone. It's definitely way worse. It's going to be less respected. But to think that this deck is not going to be able to snatch wins, I think is completely ridiculous. This deck can definitely still do it. And yeah, you just have to know how to build it and adapt it to the format especially, right? Because Bystials are going to be really popular. I really don't like the Kashtira build. I really wouldn't recommend it. That's just my personal opinion. But and I also wouldn't recommend the, what are the cards? The Blaster and Gold Sark. I think I saw a list with Secret Sword of 7 stars. Like, no, we ain't that desperate for Tempai. This deck has so many consistency cards still. We ain't playing Blaster and Gold Star. We're not playing 2014 cards. Get out of here. I think this is like this or the Bystial versions are the way to go, 100%. So how do you guys think that you guys should be playing Tempai down below? Because I am an absolute hater on the Cash Engine. I'm an absolute hater on the Blaster stuff. I really think that this is the way to go. It's the best counter. These double as hand traps. Going into the current format with how popular Fiendsmith is, there's just only upside, or just doing something like this where you are just charming them to death, stopping them in every way that you possibly can, and then just punishing them with very simple gameplay. So I'm really curious what you think down below of different options you can make. I'm sure that there is some that I'm missing, but I am super curious of other builds for this deck. So again, if you guys enjoy, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and I want to hear your thoughts down below because I love the discussion. So yeah, without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.